Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple app, which is just a very easy little game. So you're just this little blue car that can be left and right, and when you start your game, red cars come in your direction, and if you hit one, then your game is over. So I'll just use a chance to hit one there we go. So once you do that, your game's over, and you press start after 3 seconds and you can go again. So very easy idea. So the cars themselves are actually very easy to make, and you don't have to limit yourself to cars, you can use whatever you like. So if you go to piscalapp.com, then you can draw whatever you like, you can run through the frames, and it lets you speed up or slow down frames, and you can make your own little GIFs and have all sorts of fun making whatever it is you like. So like I said, it doesn't have to be cars, it can be rockets, avoiding asteroids, whatever you want. Once you're happy with your GIF though, you press export, you download it, and you just put it in your computer and you're ready to go. So what you will need is, you don't need a line. There we go. Alright, don't want that. So you will need a car that moves around. You will need a car that moves around. You will need a car to avoid. You'll need a left and right arrow. You'll need a game over bit, a start bit, and you will need a stop button because your cars will move left and right forever. So I have also included a picture of the code that I used, but you'll see it on the screen. Right, so once you're happy with your pictures that you're going to use, you make a new app. I'm just going to call my cars, and you start off here. So the first thing you're going to need on your view is you're going to need a canvas. So find a canvas here, there we go, drag it in, and you'll see up here that has a stage. So if you look at the stage, you can look at the background color over here at the right hand side, and you should be able to choose whatever color you like. I'm going to choose a darkish kind of grey color because it's supposed to be better to load. Alright, once you do that, then you can use your sprites, and your sprites are basically what's going to be moving around your screen. It is a really good idea to name your sprites because they're all just called sprite type 1 or sprite type 2, and it's very difficult to keep track of them in your coding. So when you get up to sprite type, you can click on the source file here, and you can upload any image you have in your computer for that. So I'm going to pick my blue car for the first one, give it a second to upload, or see if it will upload. Oh, there we go. And once it's over here, I can drag it onto my screen, and I can manipulate the size. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. So once you're happy with the size and the positioning, then you can move on to your next sprite. So you add another sprite type for your next sprite. Make sure that you give it a name again. So this is going to be my red car. Upload the red car. And I'm not going to put my red car on the actual screen because I don't need it at the beginning. It'll only get created once I start my game. So you can get rid of these other sprites that we have. So my next sprite is going to be the left arrow. So I'm going to upload the appropriate picture. And then once I drag them in, put them where you want, and make sure you name it again. You have to name everything twice. It's a bit of a pain, but it's definitely worth it down the line. So this one's going to be our right arrow. We'll upload our right arrow here. Give it a second. Now bring it over, make it a similar enough size, put it in my place, give it a name. You can see up the top here whether you've missed the name or not. I think it looks okay so far. Next we need a stop button, and after that we're going to need the start game and the end game, and then that's it, we're done. So stop. And then a start game. don't leave spaces in this, it doesn't like it for some reason. So make sure you use underscores or just have it all sites. Drag this across. Make sure you have it the way you want it. The look of this is entirely up to you, so make the graphics whatever size you like. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. So that's our start one. Did I forget to name the stop? I did. So if I go up here and I name this kind of stop. Alright, we need 2 more, I think. No, we just need endgame. That's it. So we'll call it our game over, sorry. Game over. And we'll upload our game over. So there it is, and I'm just going to put him up here. Right. So once you have it looking the way you want, you can actually go to your blocks and you can start coding. So the first thing we need to do is we need to say that when we turn on the canvas, we basically only show the bits we want. And the only thing we don't want at the beginning is the game over sign. So when the canvas loads for the first time, all we have to kind of get out of the way is the game over, because everything else will need to be visible. So we'll get rid of I clearly forgot to name our game over sprite. I'll do that here. I have 2 blue sprites, which is a little concerning. Which one is this guy? He's sprite 1 and he's sprite 1 as well. So we'll get rid of the one that's in the slightly wrong place. So who's this guy? Get rid of him. Right, and we'll call this guy blue. So when we're happy enough, we go to our blocks and we start coding. So we're going to sprite 1 blue. Let's just, so we hide our game over sign, which is there. Then we go to left and right. So our controls is our next one, right? So when we click our left button, we want our car to move. So we want sprite blue is the wrong one. We go to motion, we have sprite sets, sprite blue speed, and the X speed is the left and right speed, and the Y speed is the up and down. So to turn this into a game where something moves up and down will be very simple. You just change this X to Y. So left, just like on a plane in maths, left is minus numbers and Y is plus numbers. So if you think of the X value on the X axis, when you say minuses you go left and when you say pluses you go right. That's the same with coding. So when we click our left arrow, our car moves in the right place. If we duplicate that, then you just right click and duplicate, then we just do the exact same thing for the right arrow, only instead of minus 150 we just make it plus 150. And then the stop is identical again. The only difference with the stop is its speed goes from 150 to 0. So if we check this out, you can click a live text. It's the beauty of this, you can test it out as you go. And you can see the arrows work. So my right arrow works, my left arrow works, and when I click stop, that works too. Nothing else works because we haven't coded for it yet, but we'll get it. So the next thing we need to do now is we need to see what happens when we press start. So when our start button is clicked, so start game is here. So when our start button is clicked, we need to hide the start button because we want to play our game. And what else do we want to do? We want to make a car to avoid. So we want to create a red sprite. So where's our red guy? Here it is. And where do we want to make him? So the Y value is up and down. We'll just make him a small bit off the top. There. And the X value we want to be random. So if you click into math, then you can make a random number anywhere between one side of the screen, which is 0, but we won't make it exactly at 0, we'll make it 10, just so it's 10 pixels off and we're not staring at a car that's kind of half off the screen. And we'll make it over to the right, and we'll make, say, 320 is fine. Okay, so once we do that, then we need our car to not only get created, we need it to move. So we go back to motion and we set our speed for our red car this time. Actually for our component, because our component was the thing that was made. And its Y value because we want it to move down. And we'll set that to 200. If you want to make it faster, you just pick a higher number. And if we check that now, we should be able to press start and the red car will appear somewhere on our screen and travel down. As long as we're patient enough to wait for it. And there we go. So once it travels down, it's just staying at the bottom of the screen and not doing anything. So that's our next thing that we've got to do. So when it hits the bottom of the screen, we've got to make sure that it disappears and we make another. So if you look here in events, then when a sprite collides with an edge, that's the wrong one. So when sprite type collides with any edge, so when our red sprite, which is up here, collides with the bottom edge, then we want something to happen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of the one that collided with the bottom. So we remove the sprite. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to make another red one and travel down the screen. So we can just duplicate the code that's here and put it there. So now, hopefully, when we press start, a red car gets made, and when it hits the bottom it disappears, and a new red car gets made. And that will happen forever and ever and ever, even if a blue car hits it, because we haven't told that to do anything. So our next step then will be to make, when the cars collide, we'll make sure that our game is over. So let's see. So just zoom out for a bit. There we go. Alright. So in events, we look at our sprites colliding. So when a sprite collides with another sprite, that's what we need. So when our blue car collides with our red car, and that's exactly what we need. We need to look here. We need to hide the red car. I'm sorry, we need to show the fact that the game is over. That's what we need to do. So we need to show that the game is over. That's Sprite 3. I don't know why the naming didn't work, but it doesn't matter. We're going to remove Collide 2 is always the second one you've chosen, right? So our red car is the second one. We want to get rid of the red car because we want to be able to start again. We're going to wait for 3 seconds and then we're going to start our game again. So we're going to show the start game sign. And if we test that, then we should hopefully have a fairly well functioning game. So the first part we did was we looked at the controls, then we looked at what happens when you press start, and then we looked at what happens when you actually hit a car. So when we hit it, it says game over. We wait and we press start, but the game over sign sticks around. Okay, so to get rid of that, then when our show start thing shows, we're going to hide our game over part. So if we look at hide, so we're going to hide our game over bit. Sprite 3. And hopefully then, if we test this, we should have a perfectly working game. So if we press start, so that was a very short game, but nonetheless it worked. So our game over disappears and our start game starts. So our game works perfectly. So like I said at the start, you guys can make this, or better still, you can improve on it. You could add a scoring system, you could add levels, You don't even have to have a car being avoiding cars. It could be just anything avoiding anything else. You could even have your car move up and down. So there's all sorts of things you can do with this kind of app. So good luck, get creative.